Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will continue with our verbs and the conjugation of them. Unfortunately, there are some irregulations, some exceptions, stuff like that, and we will slowly and chill try to conquer them all. Before we start, a little repetition of a previous lesson. You can check it out. I think it's the very first video. We learned the personal pronouns in Nominativ. In German, we call them Personalpronomen. Sounds almost the same. So, ich, du, er, sie, es, Mann, wir, ihr, sie, sie. And I translate I, you, he, she, it, one, we, you, they, you polite. Now, last time we practiced the verbs, the most normal and regular verbs, and how we build them. For example, we have to live, wohnen. We have the stem, that's how I call it, and the ending. We cut off the ending, and then we put, depending on what we want to say, the endings that are listed here. Ich wohne in Deutschland. I live in Germany. Super easy. If you don't know what is Mann, watch my other video, but I'm quite sure we will talk about it a couple of times in the future, so don't worry too much. But check out my other video, I explain it briefly. And don't get it confused. She, they, and the polite you, which is visible because it's written with a capital letter. Sie wohnt in Deutschland. What does it mean? Which one is it? Of course it is she lives in Germany. How do we know? We can see the T is here and here. Makes sense. Sie wohnen in Deutschland. What does it mean? It means they. You see it here, wohnen. Wohnen. Ending is en. But now you're like, so how do we know it's not a polite version of it? So normally if you address someone, you live in Germany, it's not a statement, it's more like a question. So if you're addressing someone, the grammar would be the same. But nobody would say that. Who would address someone and say, you live in Germany? Either you can make a question out of it. Sie wohnen in Deutschland. You live in Germany. But grammar-wise, it can also mean they. So the only way to find it out is by context. But don't get too afraid of that. To be honest, this is a mistake that many people don't make because it's quite obvious if you talk about many people or if you are addressing someone. Okay, this was a little repetition, and now we go to the new subject. Verben konjugieren, to conjugate verbs, but not any kind of verbs. Verbs that end with T or D. Verbs that end with D or T will get an E between the stem and the ending, but only for second person singular, third person singular, and second person plural. Now you're like, what does it mean? It's not so difficult or different. If you check out the personal pronouns, you can see you can divide it into two areas. The first one is the singular, one person. And the second one is plural, two or more persons. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if one says first person singular, it is here, first person singular. If it's first person plural, it is wir. This is how you say it. So 1 PS and 1 PP, or 2 PS, 2 PP, 3 PS, 3 PP. Back to our explanation. I repeat. Verbs that end with D or T will get an E between the stem and the ending, but only for second person singular, third person singular, and second person plural. If you want to look it up, this kind of grammar is called Erweiterung. Erweiterung means extension. So, for example, we have here some verbs. Arbeiten, to work. Warten, to wait. reden, to talk. So normally we know, okay, this is infinitive, we cut it off, and we have to add something. For the verb warten, we have here the example. Ich warte, du wartest, er, sie, es wartet, wir warten, ihr wartet, sie warten. Actually, it makes super sense because you cannot just say it without the E. It's like a double force on the tongue. Du wartst, er, sie, es wacht, ihr wacht. This doesn't work, right? So the E is just helping to make it nice sounding. Same with reden, to talk. Ich rede, du redest, er, sie, es redet, wir reden, ihr redet, sie reden. It's not so bad, is it? We have some exceptions, of course. The verbs with umlaut. What is an umlaut? Umlaut is this ö, ü sound. So verbs with umlaut. I give you an example here. Raten, to guess. And now you say, wait a second, this doesn't have any umlaut. It's a normal verb. The umlaut happens when you conjugate it. So it doesn't mean verbs that start off with an umlaut, but that will switch during the conjugation. So the things we have to check out is the second person singular. It doesn't have the E, which we had before. We can see here, du redest, but it doesn't say here, du redest. No, it doesn't work like that. It's falling off. So this one is an example for this rule. Another one, the third person singular has no ending at all. You see it here, it's blank. So we compare it with reden, er redet. Okay, but here, because we have the umlaut, it's nothing there. It's empty. Er redet, he guesses. And the last one, second person plural with an E. It's like here, yeah? Ihr redet, ihr ratet. So this is the exception if there is an umlaut. So you have to check out the verb. Does it end on T or D? Yes or no? Does it have an umlaut when you conjugate it? Yes or no? And then you have to follow the rules. And a little exercise, Übung. Conjugate the verbs einladen, gelten, treten. I give you the translations. Einladen, to invite. It's a verb that opens up. This is where there is the slash. Gelten, it means to apply. Some rules apply or stuff like that. Treten can mean to kick. Okay, conjugate it. Press pause, try to conjugate it if you want, and we will check out the solution in a little bit. Okay, this is the solution to the exercise. Ich lade ein. Du lädst ein. Umlaut. Er, sie, es lädt ein. Nothing here, as you can see. Wir laden ein. Ihr ladet ein. Sie laden ein. Those with the umlaut that are changing are the hardest one. I can admit to that. But if you use it once or twice, it will be in your brain. Ich gelte. Du giltst. Er, sie, es gilt. Wir gelten, ihr geltet, sie gelten. Ich trete, du trittst, er, sie, es tritt. Wir treten, ihr tretet, sie treten. Here we have a little addition. The second T is due to skipping the vocal. If you are a total beginner, you will be like, oh my God, why is everything changing? There is no rule to anything. But there is a rule. Those are called, the verbs can be in two categories, schwache, starke Verben. So the verbs that change or the verbs that don't change when you conjugate them. And even for the irregular verbs and the verbs that change, there are some rules. We will talk about it if you want in another video. Isn't this fun? Let's go to the next verb group that is a little bit special. And this is the verbs with S, double S, SZ, or Z. This is a little bit easier. You just don't add the S when you conjugate it in the second person singular. We have the example tanzen, to dance. Ich tanze, so we cut off the ending. Ich tanze, du tanzt, no S here, because it just looks stupid. It's not necessary. Er, sie, es, man tanzt, wir tanzen, ihr tanzt, sie tanzen. And we go to the last exercise, fill in the blanks. Ihr kauft Brot, you buy bread. Wir trinken Orangensaft, we drink orange juice. Maria studiert in Köln. Maria studies in Cologne. Eva und Paul wohnen in Irland. Eva and Paul live in Ireland. Herr Weiß redet mit Eva. Mr. Weiss talks with Eva. Ich reise nach Italien. I travel to Italy. Inga, typo. It's of course Inga arbeitet in München. Inga works in Munich. Herr und Frau Berg gehen nach Hause. Mr. and Mrs. Berg go home. Paul bestellt Cola. Paul orders Cola. Du tanzt mit Eva. You dance with Eva. Wir fragen Robert. We ask Robert. Ich heiße Anna. My name is Anna. Ihr kommt aus Spanien. You're coming from Spain. Or you are from Spain. This is it for today. Don't get discouraged. It's not that hard. Especially the verbs in the beginning are a little overwhelming. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow Los Sprachschule on Instagram for announcements, quiz, and other fun stuff. The more people follow, the more content, of course, I will create and publish. You just have to type into your search bar Los _learn German, and then you will find us. We are quite new, as you can see. So help us with your support if you want. And I also want to know what's next. Do you want to continue with the verbs, which are not an easy task? I know that, and I gladly can continue with it. Or do you want a vocabulary video? And if so, is there a topic you want? Leave it in the comments below. Leave your feedback, your like, of course, if you want, and I will see you soon. Bye!